Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Fox and I like video games, and today I am back with another Sims 4 Speed Building video because at this point I am a Sims channel. For those of you who do want to see other games from me, I will have more content coming soon. I am working on another Fortnite video. That one does take some time to put together as I've got to paste together all of my elimination clips, and I kind of play that game really casually and usually with friends, so it does make piecing together things a little bit harder, but one is coming soon. So if you do want to see that video, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel and hitting the bell notification to be notified when all of my videos go live. In the meantime, if you are wanting extra stuff, I recommend following me over on Instagram. That is where I am the most active. I post a lot of aesthetic gaming flat lays, I post mini reviews, a lot of stuff to do with the Switch and games that I'm playing throughout the week. I post some stuff on my stories, just things that you won't see here over on YouTube. So again, at arcadefox with an underscore at the end for my Instagram. There is a link in the description below. Follow me over there if you want to see more stuff. Moving on to today's video, as you'll see from the title, it is part one of a two-part video series, I guess, for this one. Reason for that is this build is enormous and I didn't want to make you guys suffer through an hour-long video, so I did break it down into two parts. First one's about 30 minutes, second one's a little bit less, but this one mainly focuses on the exterior of the build, all of the landscaping, the backyard and the courtyard areas, and part two will focus on the interior and the furnishings. So this lot is built in Oasis Springs, which is one of the base game worlds. I often overlook this world, but it is so beautiful and I'm excited to build here more now. This one is on the Rio Verde lot. This house does come in at 300,000 simoleons, so it is on the expensive side. Again, if you want to use it in your game, I would recommend money cheats for this one, and also using move objects when placing it, just to ensure that it is in the correct place, like everything's in its correct place, because I do size up and raise up a lot of items in this one. This house does come in at 5 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, technically 4.5 bathrooms, but I'm counting it as 5 because there is a laundry space with an extra toilet in this house. This house also has a pool. It has lots of sitting, living, dining areas. I focus heavily on dining spaces and sitting spaces, so the family that I imagine would be living here can come together and just be together as a family, as that's what I imagine would be important for the family. So I wanted this house to feel like a villa, somewhere you could imagine yourself vacationing, although as I said, there is a family in mind for this one. So I will just talk about them quickly. The family that I imagine living here consists of a grandmother, who I imagine is the matriarch of the family. I imagine this is her childhood home that she inherited from her parents. I imagine that her parents or her parents' parents probably built this house and the family have just expanded on it over the years. So this is her inherited childhood home. Living here with her is her son and daughter and their respective partners and their children. So the son has a wife and 2 daughters, a child and a toddler sim, and the daughter has a husband and they have a teen son sim. So living here, there is the grandmother, 2 adult children, their respective partners, and 3 grandchildren. So it is a 3 generations family, a 3-generation family home. I imagine that this family is very big on family. Family is the #1 priority. It's the most important thing to them, and that's why I included lots of sitting spaces and dining spaces, just because I imagine that they're always pretty much together, always coming together. I tried to turn back on the technology in this build because I didn't think that they'd really be into technology. I felt like they'd be out in the pool together, cooking on the barbecue, sitting in the patio or pergola that I built out the back. There is also monkey bars, so I imagine that the kids are always kind of out there doing things together, and they're just a very close-knit family. And yeah, that's the basics of the family. I will talk about them in more detail in part 2 when I go in and finish all of the individual bedrooms, so make sure you guys do watch that when it comes out. I am hoping to release that one next week. So yeah, again, make sure you've got your notifications on so you don't miss that video. Moving on and actually talking about the house, you'll see that the shape of the build does come together. There are lots of pathways, lots of open spaces, lots of windows, lots of archways. I wanted it to feel really airy and light. I imagine that probably doesn't get very cold in Oasis Springs, so there's lots of archways as opposed to doors and things like that. And yeah, I'm really happy with how it turns out. I do keep in the floor plan of this one so you guys can see me struggle, because I did struggle. The floor plan does change a little bit off camera between part 1 and part 2 because I realized that some things just wouldn't work. But I do basically have it with the dining, kitchen, living room, and 1 bedroom downstairs, and the rest of the bedrooms are upstairs with some bathrooms. So that's the basics of the floor plan. You will see it coming together now, and you will also see more in part 2. So with this one, there is a balcony at the front. On that balcony, I place some planter pots and also a easel. There is a large balcony at the back of the build, which is off of one of the bedrooms. It's off of the adult son's bedroom. It's absolutely beautiful out there. I can't wait for you guys to see all the furnishing of this one. I just love this house so much. It did take me a really long time for everything to come together. I think I had about 18 hours of raw footage to try and break down, and I think I built it over five or so days, so quite a big one. I will be taking a break from bigger builds after this and trying to focus on doing some tiny homes and some apartments, because I definitely do need a break. This one was I was just so inspired to build it. I was inspired mostly from the movie Encanto. It's a movie that me and my daughter have been watching quite a lot here. I like to say that she's obsessed with it, but I think that it's me who's obsessed with it, and I'm just using her as my cover. So it was inspired by that movie. I don't reference the house or anything like that. I just think it was the vibe and the culture, just the style that inspired me to build in 1, Oasis Springs, and 2, in this Mediterranean type style. So that's where the inspiration come from. And I cover this build in plants. And when I mean cover it, I mean absolutely cover it in plants. I used so many plants from Jungle Adventure. I use these red flowers, the wallflowers, and I cover so much of the exterior in those. I use lots of cacti, lots of those spiky bushes. I don't know what they're called. Those, you'll see them soon, but I use the garden plots from Debug and I raise them up to make them look staggered. I just love them. I wanted the house to feel like it had been here for a really long time and that the plants had sort of become overgrown. And yeah, so that's what I did here. You will see it coming together, adding lots of plants on the outside. And just quickly, I do want to apologize for the audio quality in my last video. I was not happy with it, so I have gone out and brought a pop filter to hopefully reduce the amount of air playback that was coming through my microphone. So let me know if this one is better for you guys. I'm also using a different recording program as well. Hopefully that does help. So again, I do want to apologize for that. Hopefully the video today is better. Again, I also do want to apologize for any cat noises that you guys can hear in the background. I have 2 cats running amok in the background here, thinking that it is time for zoomies again. So not much I can really do about that, but I'm hoping that they will settle soon. So anyway, moving on. Again, I focused heavily on living spaces and just trying to make this house feel as open and airy and sort of as natural as possible. I wanted it to feel like it was very old, but not run down, like it was very well taken care of. So I do use the Jungle Adventure flooring throughout the entire build. I did the wall trim and the exterior paint off camera because I didn't want the camera to be spinning around. That's something else that I wanted to mention as well, is the pacing of this video. I need you guys to let me know if the video is too fast or too slow for you in regards of like the playback speed. I know that some people don't like quick playbacks because it can make them feel nauseous and play up like their vertigo. For me personally, I watch all of my speed builds as fast as possible. So even the speed build videos that I watch from other YouTubers, I tend to put them on 2x speed and watch them even faster. That's just my personal preference. So for me, finding a good pace that I know a wide range of people will be able to enjoy is definitely difficult. as I just like them to be super fast. So you guys need to let me know if this is too fast or too slow for you guys. I want to make sure that everybody can watch the video and enjoy it. If this one is too fast for you, you can go and click on like the 3 little dots on the side and slow it down through the menu options there. You can also speed it up if it is too slow for you. So I really recommend doing that. And then if my voice sounds funny, you can just mute me so you don't have to listen to it and watch the video that way. So definitely let me know, because I do want to make sure that I am getting the pacing right so that everybody can watch it. So part 2 of this one will go up next week. Hopefully my origin ID is arcadefox. It will be up there next week. Definitely check it out and download it. Let me know what you guys think. I do have some more builds up there, so go check them out on the gallery. Again, as I said, I will be doing some smaller builds, some apartments and some tiny houses. And I was even thinking of doing like a base game starter home. So let me know what you guys want to see in the future. And yeah, now we're moving into the landscaping. So as you'll see, I'm going around and adding lots of the hanging plants from the ceilings and along the walls. I use those red flowers again from Jungle Adventure to cover up any sort of open spaces that I felt looked really blank. And I do pop a chimney on the roof, and I found that item in debug. It was the base game roof piece, and I used that on the front of the build. As soon as I saw it, I had to place it there. So I did just want to mention that because I'm super happy with it. So I do use some debug hedges to line the front of the build, and I was going to kind of go with that more like foresty kind of vibe, but I pulled out a palm tree, and that's where the landscaping just took off. So I use lots of debug palm trees. I use lots of island living plants. I struggled to pick some trees out that I wanted to use. So I do stick with the palm trees, and I stick with the red tree from Island Living. I'm not sure what the name of that one is, but you will see it. I use it in the front and the back. So these are the plants that I primarily use throughout the build. So I use the hosta plant from Cats and Dogs. I use the Swiss cheese plant from Jungle Adventure. I use some cacti from Strangerville. I use some of the flowered cactus from Strangerville as well. I use a lot of debug plants. I wasn't really focusing on trying to use heaps of debug plants to make the build cheaper. I was just picking out whatever I felt like fit. So what's it called? It's the bromilla plant and I can't remember what it's called, the Japala plants. They're the low-lying ones with the flowers from Jungle Adventure. I just wanted to use them to sort of shape the ground. And I basically just use what you can see on screen here, use some base game cactus, and I just duplicate them and add them all over each other in different colors to make them feel full and over the top. I just wanted it to be very colorful. I don't usually do colorful landscaping. I tend to keep everything just green with like 1 or 2 colors. So I just wanted to do something a little bit different, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. There's lots of pink, lots of reds, lots of oranges and yellows. I'm just so happy with how the landscaping turned out. You'll see here that this is where I use the garden beds from Debug to sort of shape out some garden bedding area, because I just didn't want the build to feel flat. The exterior is so extravagant that the landscaping had to match. So again, I'm so happy with how this turned out. I use so much cactus, so much of the low-lying flowers, and just add everything over the top of each other, layering. These are where I pull out the vines from Jungle Adventure. I use them to line the fence. Everything in this build is covered with plants. I'm so obsessed with it. I think it is absolutely beautiful. I include some screenshots of the exterior of this build at the very end of the video, so make sure you guys stick around for that. This took me a really long time to put it all together. All of this landscaping probably took the longest. I don't think that the interior took as long as the exterior here, because I've never done sort of lush landscaping like this before. As I said, I try and keep it really minimal and keep it really green and stuff like that. So this was definitely very different for me. Definitely a challenge. Definitely took a really long time. As you can see, I just did some terrain paint to make everything feel like it belongs and it wasn't so flat. And then I found these ruin pieces in the debug menu, and I end up using these as sort of like garden edging. I use them to just go around the paths. I use the little broken pieces on the end just to make it like just add a little detail, and I use it to separate all of the garden beds in the front. So I did start with those smaller ones, and then I found these bigger ones in there, and I just realized that I just wasted my time adding all of the little ones. So do go around and replace them with all of the big ones, and using them here, using the broken pieces to separate this front garden bed. Just adding an extra detailed element. I'm really happy that I found those. And then I use these wall hanging plants to add onto the sides of the balconies. What I end up doing with that balcony in the front is I end up putting like an open roof on the top. So you will see that. I think you'll see that in part 2. But I size up some of the vines and lay them on top. So it's like an enclosed plant roof type thing. But you will see that just here now, adding some extra plants around the base of the palm tree. I just felt like it looked really flat in there, and I didn't want it to be so plain. And then in this area next to it, I do end up adding a well. I think it's the wishing well from, is it Get Together that one's from? I add the wishing well. I was going to add the one from Cottage Living, but I thought the wishing well would add something different to the build, and I don't think I've ever actually placed that one before. So that will go here in a minute, just using some of those hedges to line the backs of the fences as well. I just wanted everything to feel super lush, as I've said probably 100 times in this voiceover already. So in the front, I use the modern letterbox. I felt like that just fit better, and again, using lots of these Jungle Adventure vines to cover the fences, making everything feel like it's been here for a really long time, and using lots of the plants to cover the sort of edges where they don't really match. This build was the one that sort of really influenced me to download Tool Mod. So I have downloaded Tool, and I am trying to learn how to use that. I am watching lots of videos on that one because I've seen people use it before, and I think that it's a fantastic mod. For those of you who don't know what Tool is, essentially it's a mod that allows you to do so much more. You can size things up and size things down and change the direction of things much easier than you can with just the standard in-game features. So that's something that I am playing with, and hopefully we'll be able to implement in future builds, because I think that it'll just really help. I struggled a lot with the sizing of a lot of things in this one because I was limited to what the game allows you to do. But anyway, you'll see there at the front, I just placed some plants and a chess table, and this is where I place the wishing well. I also found those fuller hedge pieces that go on the wall, so I do replace some of the vine ones with those. So you'll see me doing that in the front now, making everything feel full, making everything just, I think I went a little bit overboard with the plants on this one, so you guys will have to let me know. I think it works for this style, but there definitely is a lot, and there's a lot of me jumping back and forth and adding a whole range of different things. I even used some of the vines from Cottage Living. But now just going around and adding some lights to the exterior. I used the Jungle Adventure lights, and then I also used some from the Oasis kit in the exterior and interior as well. Those ones that I place on the ground are the ones from Snowy Escape. I think that they just look beautiful. They're like a stone outdoor lamp. So I use those. This is the balcony that I was talking about that I do end up putting a cover over. I use the fence, the short fence pieces to make that, but you will see me do that in part 2, adding some planter pots, a seat up here, and just a painting easel so that your Sims have something to do. And then I add a statue out the front, just making it feel nice and full, adding some extra plants around. Again, I didn't want any detail to be left. I wanted to make sure that I just made everything perfect on this one, so I definitely tried. Moving on, doing the sides of the building are probably the most simply decorated in regards to plants. I just use some of the vines to cover the fence, some of the hanging plants. I use lots of the debug pots and things like that to sort of fill spaces. Use those vines, the hedges again, to line the yard. And then now we are moving into the backyard. So again, I copy over some of the palm trees, and I do end up using that Red Island Living tree in the back on the right hand side where there is that sort of stone arch. I really like that stone arch. I actually placed it slightly off the lot, so I'm not sure if that will actually be downloadable. You guys will have to let me know. But again, just trying to figure out a way to use these planter pots out the back here as well. I end up getting two into the corner there next to the pergola, and I think it turns out really beautiful. And then, yeah, there's one out the back here. So this is the stone arch. It's slightly off the lot. I don't know if that will actually be downloadable. I hope it is. I will probably test that, and if it's not, I will remove it. But I pull out some more of these like fern palms, the banana leaf palms, and just fill the backyard with the same plants as the front. I use the ruins fence pieces. They're not fence pieces, but I use these ruined pieces again to sort of line the stone pathing, just adding that extra detail in there. And off camera, I go in and I copy over a bunch of plants. So there will be more landscaping here, again filling in this space using the cactus. I really love the cactus with the pink flowers on the top. I've never used cactus in The Sims before. Again, I'd never really built in Oasis Springs. Like, I love building, but I found that I typically only really build in sort of Willow Creek. That's kind of the world that I always just go and build in. And now that I have my channel, I'm trying to build in lots of new areas, and I'm discovering that lots of the areas are very beautiful. So Oasis Springs is beautiful, and the cactus plants that fit into this world are absolutely stunning. So really love that one. I really love the cats and dogs hoister plant. That's one of my favorites. And the spiky bush, it's like the dark green with the lighter like edges to it. That one is stunning. I don't know what that one's called, but it's probably become one of my favorite plants in the game after this one. It's really difficult to use because of how spiky it is. It kind of sticks out so much, but I think in the places where it does fit, it's absolutely beautiful. So used a lot of plants that I've never really used before in this one, and I'm super happy that I got the opportunity to use a lot of color that I never really used. So also very happy with that. Lots of cactus again that just, I don't know, I'm just obsessed. I'm obsessed with this build. Watching it back makes me even more obsessed. What we will end up doing here is, as I'm finishing up filling up these garden plots, I will move on and do the pool area. So around the pool, what we end up doing is using the jungle adventure. No, it's not jungle adventure. It's the get together pool stairs and the get together diving board, I believe. And then I put two of the fish fountains in the pool as well on the sides. You will see that after I do briefly landscape the side of the build. So adding some cactus, adding some flowered plants. I keep it super simple here because it is quite a small area. And then I just pop one of those spiky plants, those ones in the front there. And I don't drag the hedges all the way around because I felt like it would just do an injustice here. So again, filling up this area, trying to make everything feel super lush and super natural and slightly overgrown. But we are now moving into the pool. So it is it the get together? I think it's the get together. Yeah, it's the get together pool stairs and the get together diving board for this one. And I changed the pool color and used the Jungle Adventure stone inside the pool. I think it looks beautiful. I wish we had a normal diving board, but I think this one really does work with the style of the build. But out here around the pool, I do get a couple of lounge chairs, and then I do also have a small dining table and chairs with a barbecue. In hindsight, this family is so big that you'd probably need a bigger dining table out here, but there are so many dining spaces throughout this build that I felt like a smaller one. Maybe the kids come out here with their friends and they're all swimming in the pool and they just sit around this table here. I think there's 4 chairs around this one, so it is a little bit smaller, but that's okay because in the pergola that I built, there is a large dining table with a barbecue, another lounge chair and some lights and more plants. Again, the plants carry on into the inside of the build as well. So in part 2, you will see me fill this place full of plants. I use lots of the plants from the Bloom and Rooms kit as well, lots of the hanging plants. That plant is beautiful. But into this one, we are in the pergola now. I use lots of the hanging plants to kind of close it in, lots of the vines as well, to kind of make it feel a bit more natural. I just wanted it to almost be secluded from the rest of the house and kind of be like a private little area where the family can go and relax and have a meal together outside in the summer weather. So that's what the intention is here. Again, using these hedges to, I think they're city living. Are they city living hedges or are they jungle adventure hedges? I think they're jungle adventure wall hedges to fill in the space. Again, I love that plant that we got from the Oasis kit. I can't remember the actual kit's name, but it's the Oasis courtyard one. That plant is beautiful. I use it so many times in here. I size it down. I use every pot color. But this is the table that I was talking about. It's quite a large table. I add the barbecue there, the orange one, again copying that same plant over. I pop a plant and the little stool in the corner here with the light. I use the candles and I also use the Jungle Adventure lanterns, and then I do go around and place them throughout the rest of the exterior. I also use the Jungle Adventure hanging lights here, the ceiling lights with the candles on them. I think that they turned out beautiful. I am adding the finishing touches now here around the pool space. I was going to add some more stuff to the back side of the pool, but I just felt like it would be overkill. So keep it really simple, add an extra chair, add the stone bench, and then we will be moving into the courtyard area. In the courtyard, I do keep it very simple. I add a fountain. I knew I wanted to add a fountain in here, so I add the one from the Oasis kit in this red color. I just think that it was the best fitting for the space, and then I use these base game benches to make some sitting areas. I do grab this statue. It's one of the ones from Jungle Adventure. It's like a shrine statue thing. I do place that in the corner, and what I end up doing is I put some of the floor lights around it. I don't know what I was thinking here. Maybe it's a shrine, maybe it's something to do with the family. Not really sure, but I thought that it looked nice, and I was struggling to find something that fit in this courtyard. So other than that, we do have some planter pots out here. Again, that little seating area, and then I do just place some decorative plants as well. So we will be wrapping this up shortly and moving into screenshots. So I do just want to say a huge thank you for watching this video, and a huge thank you to anyone who has watched any of my previous videos. You guys have no idea how much it means to me to know that there are so many of you who are loving my content already. I'm just over the moon with the support and the feedback that I have received for my channel so far. So thank you so much. Thank you for watching the video. Again, make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you do like this video and turn on your bell notifications so you don't miss part 2. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.